YouTube has done something I think we all expected them to do, although the fact they've waited till now to do it, I think makes it even more Machiavellian and manipulative, and therefore a lot worse than just doing it in the first place. They've deleted over 22,000 comments, at the very least, from the Lord of the Rings trailer. Obviously, doing YouTube videos, I went back to that comment section a lot, so here's proof it was at 82,000. I mean, sure, the views haven't changed that much. They've gone up about 300,000 over the last week, but with 300,000 views should come a lot of comments. And while it used to be around 82,500 comments a week ago, now it's gone down to 60,000. We've lost over 22,000 comments, and that's just the comment number changing, because new comments also came in. So we've lost 22,000 plus an entire week's worth of comments. And as you can see, if I set the comments to most recent, we've still got it. We've got one 3 minutes ago, 14, 49, 1 hour, 2 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. So the comments are definitely slowing down, but they're still happening. And this will be the slowest point. So the further you go back to that week, the more often the comments would have come in, and they've all gone. And as you can see on the previous video, if I scroll through, all the comments are uniform. They all look very similar because they're all sending the same message. It's all repeating the same thing, because that was the point of the trailer. The strength of that message was that everyone was unified, using the same voice to say the same message, and there was nothing for them to grasp onto. That was a solid, clear wall, which all of their normal attacks and just accusing people of ists and phobes and everything, none of them had anything to grasp onto, because it was a comment more about the production itself, and all the journalists which tried to attack those people failed. Which is why places like The Gamer had to resort to things like trying to insult people because they don't know what a paraphrase is. It wasn't a good look for them, and their narrative fell apart. Which is why all of them have been deleted. Because if you actually look at the comments, it all looks a lot more varied than it used to, from paragraph sizes to everything else. None of the comments are good, but that's probably largely because they can't actually find any good comments to put in there. And you will see that the odd one slips through the net, and in fact, if you keep on scrolling all the way down, eventually you get back into those same comments. They've just been hidden, they're not at the top. Why? They're the ones that have been deleted. Before, you sorted to top comments, and all of those top comments were the same message. Those were what people were upvoting. Those were probably the initial ones which everyone decided to stand behind, and so all the ones below, while still carrying weight, were more to reinforce the message. But a lot of people won't even scroll this far, and YouTube know this, which is why they're down here. And I do think delaying it is even worse. Everyone on YouTube that was talking about Lord of the Rings was coming back to this trailer, because they were using it in their videos, or they were getting screenshots of the downvote. People would have noticed. But now there's been no news for a couple of weeks. There was no reason to go back, everything had died down, the videos had gone away, it was safe. And then the purge happened. In fact, if I go to this video on RK Outpost's channel, you can see that the comments there were 68,500. So that's 8,500 comments have been deleted in a day. This is something they've done over a few days when they thought no one was paying attention anymore. That, to me, implies it was deliberate. They're like, no, we can't do this, because if we delete it now, more people will make videos on it. This'll get noticed even more, so what we'll do, we'll wait for it to die down, and then when no one will notice, that's when we remove them. And I wouldn't have noticed. I wasn't going to plan to go back on this until I got comments about it. I've been deleting the comments, so thank you if you're the person that did that. I am very grateful for you and your sharp eyes. And this is the great thing about the internet. Someone will always catch you. Gabe Newell knew this a decade ago. No one is more intelligent than the internet. They will remember everything you ever do, everything you ever say, and they will deconstruct your spin. And yet still, we get places trying to pull the wool over your eyes and pull a fast one on you, and you always get caught. Because it was a unified message, because of the way it was presented and done, it was just one spam of the same comment. That carried such weight with having no avenue to attack. Oh, you can tell it had an effect, can't you? The fact that they had to wait because they were so scared of people noticing means that they noticed. They knew they lost, and they still couldn't leave it up. Their own arrogance, their own egos couldn't have those comments up, because what's going to happen now? Well, the next thing to be released may not be a trailer, it may just be no more news, and then they think, well, people are going to come back and watch this trailer. And we can't have a load of new people which are just seeing it for the first time come to this trailer and scroll down, because they'll see that one unified message and they'll get curious. They'll look it up and they'll find out the truth. That's what it's for, to dissemble, to try and make it appear different, to camouflage everything, because the comments are bad, but if you're just scrolling through, you'll just think it's some people that didn't like it. But when you see one message repeated 22,000 times in a row, it's going to make you look up why. And if you didn't know about the lore and the destruction before, once you've looked up why, you certainly will. That means that had an impact, whether it was on their egos or their bottom line. It shows that, well, they clearly don't care what the fans think because they've deleted what they said. It does mean that the fans have an effect, and they know it does. They have so much an effect, they have to remove them, censor them, shut them up, because the voices matter. The unified voices matter. The way it was done, this was a case of a property just spontaneously defending itself to perfection. That's why all the articles coming out with about it were so funny, because they all had to try new avenues of attack, and quite frankly, I don't think any of them worked. So then the only defense you've got is to censor people, to shut them up. Because you don't censor people who aren't making an impact. You censor people who actually have something to say, so much to say that you can't disagree with it. You can't argue against it, and so your only option is to remove it. And YouTube could have done this at any time, but the fact they didn't, they wanted to keep it secret. They wanted to hide it from you. They wanted no one to notice what they were doing, because they were scared of your voices. They were scared of what had happened, and the last thing they wanted anyone to do was draw attention to the fact that they were scared of it. When you're trying to shut someone up and silence them, it's often not a good idea to let them know that that's what you're doing. Mainly for the fact that they'll get louder, because they know they're on the right path. They know they're over the target, and the audience clearly were in this one. The fans' voices mattered. What people said mattered. They had their say then. I'm sure they'll go away. I'm sure the fans will go away for next time, as long as we don't let on that actually what they said had an effect on this one. Yeah, in the few minutes I've been making this video, 40 more comments have arrived. And this is as slow as it's gone, so over the last week, there would have been tons of comments coming in. But I think it's an interesting analogy, because the Eye of Sauron is always meant to be the evil watching the good guys. But it turns out there might be some kind of good guy version of that as well, because when actually people are paying attention, when the forces are good, are actually watching the trailer and paying attention to it, they didn't do anything. But the moment the good guys looked away, suddenly your voices didn't matter anymore. Amazon can come out and say we care about the fans all they want, just until you say something which actually harms their reputation, and then suddenly you go away, you vanish, just out of the mist. You're deleted in a digital environment. In the real world, we'd have a word for that. And it goes back a bit to what I said before, that $1 billion for that show isn't really much to them. If they lose the money, it's not that big a deal. For them, it's more about reputation. If this is a property to brag about, if this is meant to be the jewel in their crown, then having everybody laugh at it and having a bad reputation attached to it is completely antithetical to their aims. They don't care if they waste money getting it to be a jewel in a crown. But if every time that they bring up, yeah, we've got Lord of the Rings, everyone kind of smirks at them, that's a major downside. And that's what was happening with this trailer. This was their launching points. This was the jewel in their crown so far. And all you had to do is scroll, and people would laugh at you. And so it had to be removed. The fans had to be silenced, because any time they say they care about the fans or the lore, all you have to do is look at their actions and not their words. Their actions are silencing the fans, censoring the fans, because they don't care what you think, and they're also scared of you actually saying it. So in the words of one of the comments, this was truly a bruh moment. Congratulations, Amazon. Somehow you've managed to give me another story, and somehow you're the one who's ended up looking worse off for it. All you had to do is keep silent. You couldn't even do that. Instead, you tried to silence others. There's too many of them. You deleted 22,000 comments, and you still didn't get them all. All it takes is a little scroll to get down there, and they're all still there. You deleted a quarter of the comments, and even more of them are like this. So you had to do your best and just to hide them to hope no one would notice. But people did notice. People are going to talk about it, and you can't shut up the fans, because you need the fans. They're the ones that have the money. They're the ones that have the eyeballs. They're the attention that you're trying to win over. So rather than try and appease people inside your company, which will do nothing except cost you money, you could instead try and please the fans. The people that you should actually be caring about. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe, more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.